just think about the value that you, by teaching this skill set, whatever it is, whatever you've conquered that you have to share with the world, when you are collapsing time and teaching from the overflow of what you know, you are then by literally in that transference, you are giving those people the opportunity to make 10x what you're teaching
Yeah.
them how to do, right? So we're not just, it's not a trade, right? It's not 10K for 10K. It's a skill set in the collapsing of time that allows your potential clients and collaborators to 10x their return. And how does this work? Well, you're teaching them that this skill set that they can repeat for the rest of their life. I mean, this is invaluable in this for the sake of the building of their own business, as well as like extracting their own knowledge, and recognizing too that, when we recognize what we've invested, which I think where you're headed here, and I think this is really powerful, is even to just take a minute to reflect on truly how much you have invested. Now there's the financial investment that you've made. Incredible. I mean, if we added up, for some of us it's 20 to 30 years of, if we started with college, then we're talking conferences, then we're talking, again, we've talked online courses and all these different places.
Counseling.
And yeah,
Even
oh my
counseling,
gosh, the counseling times, an hour a week times 52 weeks, baby. I mean, we're like, this is not cheap. And these are lessons. And then you add on top of that the life cost, right? What is the
Yeah.
cost of not living into these things, of not knowing this information, of leaving it hidden? And I know, Tanya, that and we've talked about this quite a lot in our time together, is just like, man, when you're hiding from that, you are not only doing yourself a disservice, you're doing a disservice to the people that you could potentially help to create
Yeah.
flourishing in their lives. And that's a huge part of why we're here today, is to again create a ripple effect of
Mhm.
not just knowledge, but of genuine belief that what you have to offer the world has exponential value that you haven't even really considered. And in conquering what we know, to cash flow, that's our goal here. And again, so it's not just knowledge, but it's also life lived. So in some ways, some of us have learned these lessons the hard way. I know that there's a lot of like intense stories, just that all of us have brought into the room. Maybe you're navigating it right now. And the truth that we also all know is that, like, you only have to be a few steps ahead of the people that you're helping.
That's
But
right.
a big part of doing that is deciding to help them, deciding to show up and do it.
That's right. And that's part of the system. And I'll stop sharing, but thank you, Azure. That's so good. And it's exactly right. Everybody goes straight to the money thing, but the value is everything you've walked through, everything you've conquered, the life, the relationship investment, the counseling, your story. I always say, is it okay if we talk about the Bible in here? Because that's what flows out of us. That's part of our overflow. And what the law of sowing and reaping, and we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So if you have walked through fire, whether it's relationally, in the financial space, it's in these spaces, it's usually health, wealth, or finances. I'm sorry, health, wealth, or relationship. And so people sometimes wonder, well, I mean, I don't know this thing. And I'm like, all you have to do, if you look at this sheet, here's the beginner and there's the guru. You only have to be one chapter ahead of somebody else. Can I get an amen in the chat? You only have to be one chapter ahead of somebody else. In fact, I always say it's better, because if you're too far ahead, you don't have the empathy that, I'm not saying you don't have the empathy, but all those feelings of the hard stuff you walked through. That's why they say, it's so great to journal when you're going through things. It's so great to have that rawness when you're ready to write your book, or when you're ready to do your keynote message, when you're ready to get on these um, internet or your business, whatever it is, just be enough ahead of them to be able to like connect in a deep way. It changes everything. And so um, that is part of doing a high octane offer The first step is clarity. And I know
Yeah.
yeah, the
I'm
first step is
curious. Yeah, I'm curious if anybody is just hearing something for the first
yes,
time today and they're like, whoa, I hadn't thought about it like that. Or if there's any takeaways in the room, the more we share
yes.
with one another, the more we'll hear ourselves and each other's stories. So if anyone wants to raise their hand, unmute
Yeah.
and give us a little like, I would love to hear from you, even if like, maybe this could be a thing. I didn't know, like, maybe this thing that I navigated could be a thing. Or even maybe you came into the room knowing I have some things I want to figure out how to speak
Mm.
about with more authority, with more conviction. Um, Anybody open to share? Yeah, Francine, please, I'd love to hear from you.
I'll share. Yeah, definitely all this information I resonate with all of it more than I thought I was going to be honest, which I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much, Tanya.
Oh,
Um, Actually, just speaking to a client this morning, a potential client, I realized that because I was hiding and sort of, well, there's a lot of stuff, life happening, right? But because I was hiding behind this thing of being afraid and like, oh, I'm not good enough, or what am I? Listen, I've 25 years of business, right? Experience owning multiple businesses, and I'm like scared here. I'm like, what is going on? Right. So,
Mhm.
but what I really saw this morning was, wow, I'm really disservicing this client by not going out there and sharing my message, and also using methods like this, right? Like going out there and doing public speak. I do public speaking, but just not at this level. And then again, being afraid of saying, hey, listen, I can help you, but it's going to require this sort of investment, right? I would before I was like, yeah, I do that $47 thing, and then you'll be fine. So anyway, the whole point is that I think this is so amazing, and to see it in a different way, to make it easier, faster, simpler, it really feels really reassuring. And again, it aligns with profit meets purpose or purpose meets profit, and making sure that I can help that impact as well.